Game 3 here, and I see Golem first of all, and whenever you have to build an engine with Golem, it is always unorthodox and strange because you want your Golem to find cards with plus actions on them. The only such card on the board is Lab, so you would want your Golem to find Lab to get 2 actions that way. That isn't always guaranteed. Now there's also Peasant, which means there's Teacher, which means you can manipulate piles to an extent. I call Adventures the Build-A-Bear expansion because you can build the board any way you want. So for example, I can get Teacher, put plus cards on labs, and hopefully have my golems find the labs to get plus actions that way, and I would draw more with the labs. Alternatively, and this is probably what I'm leaning towards, is to put plus actions on the labs and turn them into, well, lost cities effectively. So that is what I think I want to do. I don't want to go the other way and have Golem hopefully find the labs. Sometimes it finds 2 terminals and you weep. So we both open Peasant and Silver here, seemingly angling for the same kind of deck. Golem is going to be a big player here. I have 3 here. I know I have guaranteed 5 in the back, so I'm getting my lab this turn. The Peasant Silver opening is to get to 5, to get to lab. That's the reason. I pick up a second Peasant here because Disciple is a good card. So I want one of them to be teachers, one of them to be disciples. Sometimes you want them to be soldiers too. Soldiers can be worth a lot of money, like in Scram Pool games, for example, but not really here. So anyway, my opponent picks up a second page there, and on 5, I could get Saboteur, but that is not good. Haggler is a consideration, but not now, later. There's lots of expensive things to haggle. And I get a lab here. My opponent has 3, 4 on turns 3 and 4 there, and that is just terrible. They pick up the potion. Signal intent for Golem, obviously, but having 3, 4, having Deja Vu then, opening hand twice, that is not good. You're immediately on the back foot, especially because I was able to get a lab, whereas my opponent wasn't. So here my opponent gets the Golem. I pick up another lab, converting my soldier into a fugitive. The conversion rate is excellent here. I get my potion here. I feel reasonably confident I'll be able to get to Golem. My opponent turns in a Peasant at this point, picking up another Peasant. I really only want 2 cards from the line, 1 teacher and 1 disciple. Of course, more disciples is good, but then you have to stop and buy Peasants for that. And for example, here I'm not going to buy 2 Peasants. I want the lab. The lab is just way too important on this board. That is what makes your engine run. And I have 3 of them already. Off to a good start. And I'm going to turn in the 2 Peasants I have. Like I said, 1 to teacher, 1 to disciple. Disciple is an excellent card. Sometimes I think teacher is better than disciple. It's less time and the gaining is great. Throne room is great. Here my opponent is able to pick up their first lab, I believe. I get rid of a copper here instead of the lab because I know I'm guaranteed to draw 1 copper here along with the estate to pick up the Golem. So I'm looking in very good shape here. None of my Peasant stuff has missed the shuffle. I have quite a bit of labs, and now I'm going to have a Golem. So I have a very good foundation at this point. Exchange this obviously for the disciple here. And I lead off this turn with a Golem. So I am in excellent position. My opponent picks up yet another Peasant. Not sure where they're going with all these Peasants. So here lab first, obviously hoping to find a target for the disciple, and I find a lab. So that's just beautiful. Able to get another lab of the disciple. Not going to play this lab to trigger the reshuffle. There's too many bad things in the discard pile. There is a lab, but it's not worth going around for. And here on 9, I finally have like sizable amount of money, and I have to decide what I want to do here. I can get Haggler now that I'm hitting expensive price points such as 9. Console room to make use of all the extra money. Platinum is obvious, but I think platinum is bad. You can easily do more than 1 colony a turn on this board, and I go for the expand here. I think that it was the best thing to do. I can turn these estates into 5s, Haggler, console room, more labs, and there's time to build. I'm ahead in development in any case right now, so there's time to build. So I'm going to build. My opponent gets 2 soldiers out with the Golem here. Bits, that's good, I think, I'm not sure. the attack is good. It's like militia, and you get a lot of money that way. So they're able to pick up another golem. Here I have a choice. I can expand the copper or the silver. Copper would probably go into another peasant, but I choose to turn the silver into a lab here. Like I said, lab is crucial. Winning the lab split effectively wins you the game here. And I pick up another peasant here. I think this peasant now, this third peasant for me, is for the plus buy. My opponent picks up a lab here, so maybe their second or third lab, but I know I'm well in front. And I get 3 labs out, fugitive, and I can play this golem, but a bit of thought leads me to realize I think I have 1 lab and expand plus peasant in the discard pile. So not good odds for finding the lab, I think, and I would much rather set aside the teacher at this point instead of triggering a shuffle and maybe setting it aside still. So I opt for the safe play and picking up a golem. My opponent just exchanges a peasant here. Now I get to call my teacher, and I'm going to do the thing that I said at the beginning of the game. I'm going to put the plus actions on the golem. This is the safer way, on not the golem, the lab. This is the safer way to play it, I believe. I could have put it on the golem too, but again, I still run the risk of double terminal of the golem, and I want to start putting terminals like hagglers in my deck. Here I'm able to disciple a golem, and that is immense. Being able to pick up 3 golems is immense. It's such a good card, and I'm able to just gain them liberally. It's excellent. So I have the haggler in play, so I want to make use of the 2 buys. So I go gold into lab, and then golem into a silver. Workshop really is not that exciting on this board. So not going to exchange any of these. I want to keep the peasant for the time being for the plus buy, really. I mean, it's a bit sad to buy a peasant just for a plus buy. It's like herbalist almost, but I'll get council room soon. I have the expand, the haggler. I'm not lacking for gains in any way. So my opponent here is able to exchange again, soldier into fugitive. Here I'm able to disciple another golem, and I'm just enjoying so much good luck at this point. Here I figure if I'm gaining all these golems, I don't need this potion, so I get rid of the potion, get a council room for my troubles for the plus buy. Maybe now I can upgrade that peasant into a soldier, so hopefully playing it after the council room to knock my opponent down from the extra card that I gave them. Maybe go for another disciple that way. Here with the haggler I go for platinum and lab and gold and lab, finishing out that lab pile. Just have all the time in the world to build, so why not build? So here my opponent gets to disciple a golem of their own, and it reveals 2 more disciples. So council room comes out, another council room for my opponent, and the fugitive. Unfortunately you can't get the fugitive, but not bad to disciple. And they've drawn their deck, my opponent, and they have 9 potion through their entire deck. So I feel very, very comfortable at this point. It's just a matter of technique to take the game home here. For piles, lab is done, obviously. Golem is low and it may run out. Who knows? If I keep putting disciple on golem, that pile could run. I have another teacher call at this point, and a couple decisions. I can put it on haggler because I plan to pick up more hagglers, or I can put it on golem because I have quite a bit of golems. At this point I opt for the golem, and I'm going to put the plus card 1 on the golem. I have done some stupid things with teacher at times. I've put like the same token on different piles, like I effectively just move in it when I didn't want to do that. So I had to take my time and be careful that, okay, the action 1 is there, let me put the card 1 on the golem. So I should have no problems drawing my deck, even with the amount of money I'm going to put into it and the green cards. Not a big deal at all. Here I have the opportunity to disciple the golem, but I have also other targets. I can disciple the council room you see there, or you barely see there anyway. I opt to do it on the haggler instead. The extra haggler will give me more gains and help me finish the game out faster. I considered doing it on expand. Maybe the expand was better. Not sure at this point. I wasn't really paying too much attention at this point because I realized that I was far enough ahead that I could do anything reasonably sensible and still come through. So here I think I forget that I have two hagglers in play, and I tried to buy up a colony there, but I realized I had to gain something. So I gained what, 3 Platna, another expand, another council room of the 2 hagglers that I have there. So I'm planning to just finish this game on haggler gain somehow. At that point, I exchanged the peasant into a soldier. It's a bit more money, and I don't need the plus buy anymore. So why keep it around? And I also get the attack in here. I get the cards from the Haunted Woods first. I think I need the cards because I'm really filling up my deck with treasure at this point. Expand the last estate into a Haunted Woods here. Again, the Haunted Woods also keeps up some pressure on my opponent because they haven't removed their estates, so there's green cards in their deck. And drawing nearly everything at this point, setting aside the teacher. There was some thought to expanding this teacher because I don't really want to do anything, but I could put the coins on Hackler, I suppose. Won't be terrible. So just set it aside, get the Haunted Woods out before the... Oh, not before the soldier. The soldier was force played, but ideally you should play it before the soldier to get more money out of it. Get another Haggler, so this is 3 Hagglers. And not enough buys actually. I should have kept that peasant because I come up with 48 coins here. So going to triple colony. I tried to look for a pile out here, but I couldn't find one. So I decided to just start doing it on the council rooms. Paying attention this time to how many gains that I have, because you can mess up your turn if you're not paying attention that way. And yeah, 6 council rooms and 3 Platna for me there, along with the 3 colonies. So well and truly ahead. And this, I believe, is an effective resignation for my opponent this turn. They are going to gain the last golem of a disciple and just buy some points. So that is game 3. Some coppers for the lulls there. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.